What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite OG, aka official code name Jay. I hope everybody out there has had a wonderful new year. It's 2026. This is the fourth day into the new year. I wanted to make this video to talk about sacrifice. There's levels to this, and the word sacrifice came to me just a minute ago. I was outside kind of in my own thoughts, thinking amongst myself, and this word just kept popping up. So maybe somebody needs to hear this today. Maybe somebody needs this video, and I hope that this video reaches whoever may need this and as many people as possible, and that it can make a difference if possible. But I was thinking about something. This life, I've been around the sun 33 years. And this life, man, from the time we come into this world until really, all of our days, it's a lot of sacrifice that we have to make. And there's two different types of sacrifices that we make. One of them is voluntary sacrifice, and the other can be involuntary sacrifice, right? Voluntary sacrifice, I feel like, is when, for example, you are looking for a career change, right? You've got all the qualifications for a better paying job, that doesn't require a lot of hours, at least not to overwork yourself. But you want a career change, but at the same time, the job that you currently have, you receive great benefits, but maybe the environment isn't so good. Maybe you feel as if you're really not getting compensated the way that you should be. Even though the benefits attached to it is great, you're not receiving the pay that you feel that you're worth, right? So do you stay at this job, continue to feel like you're underpaid, not really, being paid what you're worth despite the great benefits? Or do you say, you know what, I'm going to get a job where I meet the qualifications. Yes, it's going to have great benefits, but I'm also going to get paid what I know that I'm worth to be paid, right? That's a sacrifice. You're trading in one job for another one that's going to be better for you. Involuntary sacrifice is like, for people out there, and I've been down this road myself before, but it's like for those of us who have been people pleasers, right? It could have stemmed from something in our childhood. Maybe, we were made to feel, for those of us who were made to feel like we weren't good enough by our parent or parents. No matter what we did, no matter how well we did in school, no matter what accomplishments we may have made along the way, our parent or whoever was the root for us just never seemed to be satisfied and always made us feel like we have to do more in order to please them. So we do more, to get the approval of this person that we hold dear to us, just for it to still not be enough. So then as we get older and we go out here in the world, it set us up to always try to do more than we really need to do in order to keep people around, for fear of, if I don't do this, this person isn't going to love me anymore, or these people won't be my friends anymore. So you're sacrificing parts of yourself, a lot of yourself, just to appease other people. This life that I've lived, I've lived a pretty hard life. And I feel like, at times a lot of the hand that I was dealt, really, it wasn't fair. I grew up in an environment, single parent household, multiple siblings and, different dads, that type of thing. And out of my siblings, it was 5 of us all together. I have 3 older siblings that are in their late 40s, and then it's me, and then I have a younger sister. And out of the siblings, I was always made to feel I was like the outcast, the black sheep, the one that I was totally different from my siblings, from my mother, even just the my mindset and the way that I thought of things, and what I valued and what I stood on. And because of that, I was treated a lot differently by my mother and my siblings, because I didn't do a lot of the things the way that they felt I should, or, thinking of things the way that they felt that I should think of them. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't really realize it until I became an adult myself, having experiences with and encounters with people in my life along the way, how I had became like a people pleaser. I was always going above and beyond to make sure everybody else was good, or make sure that I was satisfying other people, and never turning that and pouring that into myself. And I was always depleted. I always felt depleted. I just was so tired, just kind of to the point in it spiraled into like a depression for me, and it took a lot of years to really sit back and, like, I went through a lot of it was a process, having to sit back and just evaluate a lot of things in my life, the people that I was around, and that included family members, and how I felt, because that was something that I didn't realize, that like nobody ever asked me how I felt about anything. Nobody ever took me into consideration. And the fact that I spent a lot of years trying to do everything to make my mom happy. I'm not going to say I was perfect, but even as a child, like, doing well in school and things like that, just for it to never be good enough, or that's how she made me feel anyway. And then to go out here in the world and then feel like I have to do extra all the time, everywhere I go, around everybody, to see the satisfaction on their face. But are you really happy with that? That's an involuntary sacrifice, and when I got to the point that I started realizing that I had made a lot of involuntary sacrifice, that's when I started to make voluntary sacrifices, right? So I sat back and started to realize, like, I'm in an environment where the people around me are living in their trauma every day. The people around me don't know how to value and appreciate me for who I am. They don't know how to embrace my individuality. And I'm always going above and beyond to try to please these people in some kind of way, being there for these people, supporting these people, having these people's back, because when you think of family, this is where it started for me, was family. I hold family to a high standard. So of course, like, it's sentimental to me. Family means a great deal to me. So all my life, I'm always trying to be the glue, that person that's there, and trying to be a friend, and that kind of thing. And, got the short end of the stick. And then when I got old enough to really look back at things, I started to make voluntary sacrifices, which was I distanced myself from my family members, because I realized how toxic that environment was. It was toxicity, it was abuse, it was dysfunction, dysregulation. There was no growth in that environment. And it don't matter how much I was trying to do. It doesn't matter how different my mind was, and I was able to see change and see that there's a world out there that's better. We're not going to get there together. We're not going to go there together. There's no way, because these people don't think like I do. They don't see the bigger vision. Why stay in this loop cycle with these people, family or not, where my voice is going to be totally drowned out? I have to hear everything everybody else around me is saying, their inputs, their name calling and belittling, and I have to endure that, and then my voice is totally silenced. So voluntary sacrifice for me was stepping back, physically distancing myself from my family. Like, I'm talking about, I changed my phone number, even lived a few blocks away from my family, and didn't open the door for them when they came to my house, didn't, answer their phone calls, just really kept my distance and stayed away. And that was a hard time for me too, because this is my family, you know what I'm saying? And we all, we look at it like that, it's like, yeah, we're having this problem being able to get on the same page with one another, but this is my family, and that's what gets you, that's what can keep you stuck. But you're sacrificing all of yourself, your mental health, your well-being, your overall emotional. So you're sacrificing a major part of yourself just to stay in this environment. Is it really worth it? Do you believe that you're worth more than that? Right? And I got tired of getting the short end of the stick, so I made sacrifices. I started cutting these people out of my life, and it became a lot more peaceful. I felt a lot more free. In environments where I feel like I'm being restricted. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't like rules. I don't like people telling me what to do, how to live, anything. I'm a free roamer. I don't know if that's a thing, but I am. I'm a free roamer, a traveler, a nomad. I'm all of that, right? When everybody else is going this way, I'm going a total opposite way. And I was able to come into an understanding of that's who I am. And once I came into that understanding, I'm cutting off anybody and anything that makes me feel like I'm going to be trapped or caged into this certain way of being, or I've got to do all of these things to fit into your lifestyle, your program, whatever it is. I'm not doing that. And yeah, some people, of course, you're going to always have people who, they don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand your vision. They don't see your vision. It's not meant for them to see that. It's not meant for them to understand that. That's not their blueprint. It's yours. But you can't allow people's opinions and thoughts about how you should do things all the time, or you're crazy for that, blah, blah, blah. The stuff that people say because of their lack of understanding. You can't let that hold you back from being you, and a lot of us spend a lot of years allowing ourselves to be held back by people, places, and things, vices and stuff like that. And we're unhappy inside. We're miserable inside because of that sacrifice of our own selves. And to be able to eliminate those things that make us feel like that, I don't care what people call you, crazy, selfish, whatever. Let them say what they're going to say. At the end of the day, this is about you. Every person walking around here, our life is for us. It's not for other people. We're not here to please other people. We're not here to fit into anybody else's program, structure, environment. Each one of us, we're here to create our own lane. And especially for my black sheeps, or they call you the chosen ones, we are creating our own structure, our own systems, our own environments. We were specifically brought here to break and to challenge all of these structures that have been here since the beginning of time, that are faulty, that are built on faulty grounds, that are unjust, generational curses. We came here to totally shake that up, to dismantle it, and to rebuild something totally different. And yeah, we're going to look crazy as hell to a lot of people. So what? We're not going to sacrifice ourselves. We're not going to sacrifice our mental health, all around well-being for you. That's not what we were here to do. But this is a message to anybody who may be feeling like this. Why do I have to follow 1,001 rules just to be considered successful, just to be considered a quote unquote normal person? But what is a normal person? That's what I want to know. What is a normal person really? There's so many different labels and things put out here in this world, and you wonder, well, what makes these labels true? What builds this? What is behind this? And it's really nothing. It's all man-made and constructed things that were here. And it's a lot of people walking around here that are totally unhappy. They're totally miserable. They're miserable in their jobs. They could be a CEO, have 20 businesses, make millions and billions of dollars. They're miserable as hell because yes, they might be very successful and have the money to do whatever they want whenever they feel like it. But a lot of these business people, there's some that, this is what they truly wanted to do. But a lot of these people, if you really dig deep, if you really get to ask these people, they were kind of, what's the word? They were kind of groomed into being something that, whatever it is that they are now, they were kind of groomed or pushed into doing that by their parents, by their family, the world that we live in general. You have to do this in order to be successful. You have to work like this. You have to talk like this. You have to dress like this. You got to follow all these rules. You got to be programmed like this to have this or to be this person. So a lot of these business people around here, they're only doing it because this is what they were trained or programmed to think, but it's not really because this is something that they wanted to do. A lot of these business people out here, these people that's got all this money or whatever you want to call it, a lot of them, if you ask them what would truly make them happy, a lot of them don't even know because they were probably never asked. So they are the ones who sacrifice themselves to follow the path, the structure of somebody else, something bigger that they felt was bigger than them. Their parent, which could be their parents, their parents were successful and did all these things. They told their children, you got to do this. It's not about what you want. It's about what I want to see you do. It's a lot of us out here that have been even just your everyday people. This is how it started, right? And they're not happy because when they've ever been asked this question, if somebody happens to just one day ask them this question, they realize that, they might have worked hard and spent a lot of years building whatever it was they built, but it was never something they truly wanted to do. This was something they was made to do. Now, if you ask them what truly makes them happy, they would sit for a minute and think about it, and it would be a totally different answer than what they are right now. That's their sole purpose, and they're not living it and haven't lived it because they're following structures. That's an involuntary sacrifice. A lot of us make a lot of involuntary sacrifices with ourselves, and it's time that we really start making voluntary sacrifices when it comes to, I'm going to live my life the way that I want to live my life. I'm not hurting nobody. I'm not out here committing crimes. I'm not a bad person. But I'm not fitting into your structure, your lifestyle, your programming, the worldly programming. Because if you know that deep down you want to run free and roam free, you're not hurting nobody, you're not doing any of that. You just want to roam free. You want to be able to get up and wake up and just do what you want to do. Well, do it. Step out of that. Quit worrying about what people think, what they're going to think, who's going to be judging you, who's going to be talking crazy about you. That doesn't even matter. You've spent too much time thinking those thoughts, and it's prevented you from being able to be your true self. You're not even in your essence, and for me, once it clicked for me, that's when I've started to take steps towards stepping out into my own. I'm not letting any of these things restrict me. I'm not letting a label, a classification, any of that stuff restrict me anymore. If I want to wake up and I decide to get in my car and I want to travel with $200 in my pocket, I'm going to do that. You can call me crazy all you want to. You never know what blessing is on the other side, and you're not going to know if you stay in a structure and feel like you got to have $1,000 to do this and that. I've seen people literally sell everything they had, jump in their car and just take off and go wherever their heart led them to. A lot of us have lost the way and lost our true selves and identity and have made these involuntary sacrifices in life because of the fact that we don't follow our true heart's desire. We're not listening to our higher self. We're doing everything everybody else wants us to do, so that's something to really think about. And I hope that this video somehow resonates with somebody out there who may need to hear that and know where I'm coming from and understand where I'm coming from, and that it may inspire you to take that step. Whether you want to travel, whether you want to, open up your own business, start a YouTube channel, you want to be a world-renowned poet, author, take that first step and stop worrying about what people say, and stop making involuntary sacrifices. Stop doing everything to please other people and start doing things that align with you and your happiness and your freedom. A lot of us talk about wanting to be free. I've been one of those people. So this message is for me as well. I'm learning and healing just like you all are. And that's the great thing about it, to have a community of people and build that where we're going to learn from each other, right? So, I just realized how much of myself I've given with no return on the investment. But what about me? Pouring into me finally for once and just doing what makes me truly happy. and discarding anything that's not a person, an environment, a situation, and just going with the flow finally, and just allowing myself to receive everything that's aligned for me, instead of fighting against it because I'm too busy trying to be something else that I know it doesn't fit me, right? The involuntary part of it. I know it doesn't fit with me. I know you feel it when it doesn't matter what it is you're doing. You can feel when it doesn't really even align with you because you feel crazy even doing it, but you feel like I got to do this, or this is going to happen, or this is going to happen. That's self-limitation. If you think it's going to happen, it's going to happen, right? But why think that's going to happen? Why not say, fuck all that, forget all that. I'm going to do my thing because I want to be happy. You only have one freaking life as who you are. You only have one life to live as you are. So you're going to spend your whole entire life making all these involuntary sacrifices to please everybody in the world and just forget all about yourself. So you're never going to really get to experience life for yourself, like life, what they call eternal life. You're not going to get to truly feel that essence of it and what it is, because you're going to keep involuntary sacrificing different parts of yourself, your whole identity, well-being, and everything. Right? Do you really want to do that to yourself? You're robbing yourself from seeing the beauty in life by living this way, right? So pick a sacrifice. Involuntary sacrifice or voluntary sacrifice. You don't align with me. You got to go. You don't align with where I'm trying to go. You got to go. That's voluntary. I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to cut this place off, this person off, these people off, this whatever it is off, so I can live. I want to be happy while I'm here. Who knows how long we're going to even be here? Why would I want to just keep pleasing all of y'all? What about me? Choose. Please choose wisely, please, because you definitely deserve to be happy. There is a beautiful world out here, bigger than your hometown where you grew up at, bigger than your family members that you done seen all your life, bigger than these friends who may not support you. There's something bigger and better out here, and you're missing out because you're sacrificing yourself involuntarily. So that's something to think on. That's something to think about. I thank you all for watching my video. Please stay tuned. Please stick around. Show me some love. Drop some comments. Give me some likes, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more. And y'all take care of yourselves. Peace.